Jared here with your Monday Market Roundup for March 24th. Today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about a phrase that I see a lot of agents using, but I'm not quite sure the general public understands what this means. Today we're going to talk about the phrase spring market. What do we mean by spring market, and what does that mean for you as a buyer or seller in the environment today? Spring market, as we kind of define it, is between mid-February to about the end of June. And what we typically see in that spring market is an increase of homes coming on the market and an increase of buyers looking to purchase. Now, there's some vague idea of when that timeline actually is. Oftentimes depends on weather. Sometimes it's mid-February, sometimes it's mid-March, kind of depending on what the weather looks like that year, or often in Kansas City over the last few years, what happens with our hometown football team. Now, when we think about the spring market, that increase of buyers usually precedes an increase of inventory. We often see more buyers getting into the market quicker than we see inventory coming to match that. And in our market in the last few years, that's been exceptionally true as demand has outpaced inventory. Now, we expect to be a little bit higher in our total overall home sales this year than last year, but so far I haven't seen quite the increase in inventory to keep up with that. So our spring market this year has really meant we've gotten quickly into some multiple offer situations, and we've seen buyers start to waive some contingencies like shortened inspection periods or taking homes as is, and offers going over asking price. Now that varies greatly depending on what part of the city you're looking in. An area like Parkville, where there tends to be a little bit more demand, is different than some of the areas of the urban core that tend to see a little bit less activity overall. So what does that mean for you as a buyer or seller in today's environment? Well, let's start with sellers. If you are thinking about selling a property, now might be a really good time to capitalize on the equity you've gained over the course of the last few years. Home prices have continued to rise, even with interest rates being higher than they have been since the COVID pandemic. But we don't anticipate any slowing of that. So for buyers, now might be the opportunity for you to get into a property that you can afford on reasonable terms that over the course of the long run might actually save you money if you were to wait buying later. Yes, interest rates are a little bit higher than we'd like to see them, but buying now at 6.75 or somewhere around that ballpark, maybe higher or lower, just depending on what the market's kind of doing in the short term, could mean you're able to refinance when rates do drop. And when rates do drop, we expect to see home prices go up even higher with increased demand. Now, you might have a lot of questions depending on your situation. And a video like this is not the place to really give you the best information. What gives you the best information is scheduling a time to chat with me, whether a phone call or in person, so that we can give you the best idea of how your unique situation fits into today's buying and selling environment. I would love the opportunity to chat with you some more, so please feel free to reach out. I hope your spring is off to a great start, and I'm looking forward to helping you this year. Cheers.